4 free-to-play games worth playing for free. Here's the deal, guys. Most of my content on this channel has been focused on Elder Scrolls Online, but I'm not happy with the direction that game is going, so I'm looking to try something new. So here's the new thing. Most of the games I play these days are completely free to play. But when I go online, I see so much hate for freemium games, and that hate may have been valid years ago, but it's just simply not valid anymore. There's some really great stuff on the free-to-play market. I mean, I do admit, there are still a lot of really shitty free-to-play games out right now, but there's also a lot of really shitty games where you pay up front. You know, with both genres, you have to know where to look. So that's what this video is about. There's already some really big name free-to-play games out there, like League of Legends and Dota 2 and Team Fortress. We're going to jump over those, and I'm going to try to show you some really great free-to-play games, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, but probably quite a few of you have never heard of. So, here are 4 free-to-play games worth playing for free. Holla. This is my first game on the list, and oh baby, we're starting off strong. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw something good in case you don't finish the whole video, so we're starting with my second favorite game on the list. Now, when you're looking at free-to-play games, you need to consider both how fun the game is, but also the payment model of the game. If the payment model restricts you about content later on through a paywall, it's not a good game. Holla is fantastic because you have the whole game without paying a single thing. The only thing that you need to pay for are cosmetics, and I'm pretty sure it's just cosmetics, it's just things to look at. Everything else in the game, all the characters, all the maps, are available for free, either immediately or just by playing the game. Now, as I'm sure you can see immediately, this is a fighting game in the same genre as Smash Brothers. What you're watching right now is a 2v2 online ranked game. Now already that sounds really cool. It's basically a Smash Brothers type game that you can play online. It's got a ranked progression mode, and you can play with your buddy even. Also, this game revolves around weapons. Each character has 2 weapons, and every weapon has a different set of moves. So learning a new character is really fun because you have to kind of learn 2 different ways of playing them. Basically, the game is just flat out fun. It starts up really fast, you can get into the game quickly. The games themselves only take about, 3 or 4 minutes maybe? So in short, Holla is a competitive platform fighter, I guess, that is simple to pick up but very difficult to master. And it really does a great job at fulfilling that competitive drive you get from games without taking up a lot of your time. And there's no reason to not try it. My next game on the list is Path of Exile, which is very similar to Diablo. In fact, I think it even has some of the developers from the original Diablo working on Path of Exile. Basically, it's an action RPG, but it has some very important differences from Diablo. Basically, it doesn't have the graphics and the presentation and the solid feel of Diablo, but it more than makes up for that with its incredible amount of depth, which is very important for an RPG like this because it's all about experimenting with gear and spells and class mixtures to find something that works for you and that expresses the way that you want to play the game, you know? Because an RPG like this, it loses its value if you come away looking just like everyone else, playing just like everyone else, which is what kind of Diablo does. Now this depth comes in 2 ways. The first is the spell class system. The game doesn't really have classes, it more has characters. And I say that because the spells and abilities you can use aren't tied to a class. The spells are tied to gems that drop. And then, as you can see on the screen right now, the gems, you can then socket into your gear, and then once they're in your gear, then your character can use those spells. So what this means is any character can use any spell, you can build them any way. And it can result in some really cool things that are your own unique personal creation, which is what I think an RPG should be about. The next area that depth comes from in this game is from the ridiculously massive passive tree, which is something that's really missing in Diablo. Now this passive tree is basically the only difference between the characters or classes, because different characters will start on different places in the passive tree, and different parts of the passive tree might gear more towards magic, or more towards tanks, or more towards physical damage dealers, for example. On top of that, it has a fantastic free-to-play model. Basically, the only things that you need to pay for are visual things. It also has stuff like extra character spaces, but it already provides you for free a ton of character spaces. You can also buy, I think, more chest space, but I never had to deal with that. I always had enough chest space. And on top of never needing to spend money on anything to continue playing the game is constantly developed and it's got patches coming out. In fact, they just released a new DLC. The point is that this game has a massive amount of depth, which is what an action RPG should have, and it's completely free. So this is a game that you can dive deep into and really spend a long time learning about and never feel like you're coming out empty, you know? Next up on the list is Unturned, which honestly, it's the game that I've spent the least amount of time with as far as all the games on this list. But I can still recommend it because it's really fun, and I know the payment model is good because I don't even know what is possible to buy with the game. I have no clue. As far as I know, you can play everything and use everything without paying anything. So that's pretty good. Now you can see immediately that it shares kind of the same graphic style as Minecraft, which might turn a lot of people off, which is understandable because there's so many Minecraft clones that are crappy. But that's where the similarities end with Minecraft. It's actually a lot more similar to DayZ and other survival type apocalyptic games. However, the difference it has with DayZ is that this game, Unturned, actually works. So, you know, that's pretty good. And it's also free to play. This has been kind of my go-to game for my group of friends whenever we don't have anything else to do, because the download is tiny. You can download it in just a couple minutes, and of course it's free to play. It's just a really fun game to run around, see what you can do. It looks very simple, but it's actually deceptively deep. It's got a crafting system. It also has items that you can combine together. It's got vehicles and PvP. So if you enjoy these kind of survival apocalyptic games, or if you're just looking for a simple game to mess around with your buddies, or even if you're not looking for any of those things, you know, it's still free, so try it out. Why not? It's a really fun game. Warframe. Holy hell, I like this game. I like this game a lot. I really like this game. In fact, I like this game so much, I don't even know where to start talking about it. There's just so many good things to say. Warframe is an action RPG just like Diablo, Path of Exile, Borderlands. You run through maps, you kill monsters, and you slowly build up better loot. The difference is that Warframe brings it to another level. The problem with most action RPGs, even a good one like Path of Exile, is that the reason you play is to build up your character, but the gameplay itself isn't really exciting. Warframe gets around that because it has that whole aspect of building up your character, but it also has gameplay that is on par with any action game, so it's just flat out fun to play. So while, yeah, you technically are grinding, it doesn't feel like it because the game is just a hell of a lot of fun. Then on top of nailing the action part of the action RPG, Warframe goes a step further and has just a massive variety in how you can build your character. It's got so many different class options, weapon options, modding options. I mean, when you first start playing the game, you're looking to build up to stronger weapons and stronger mods, just like any action RPG. But the variety of what's possible is so huge that by the time you get to the later stages of the game, you're not really looking to build up to the stronger thing, but you're more looking for your variety of weapons and classes, because you're looking for like what works for you, what's fun for you. And at that point it becomes a really fun game because you're no longer just building up the same thing, you're experimenting with different combinations and you're finding out what's possible if you add this weapon with that class and this ability. And that variety exists because the developers are always working on adding new content. I mean, it's become kind of like a joke with my friend and I that every time that we log on to Warframe there's 100 new things. But this is a really important sign of a very strong free-to-play developer, and in fact it highlights one of the advantages that free-to-play games have over pay-to-play games. You see, the word microtransaction has a really negative connotation among gamers, but actually microtransactions are exactly what enable a game like this to have long-term life. That constant income means that they can afford to continue working on content years after the game's release. And talking about microtransactions brings us to possibly the most impressive part of this game, because this is actually the freest of free-to-play games that I've ever seen. There's actually nothing in this game that you can't get for free, and that's because this game has two currencies, which a lot of free-to-play games has. It has one currency you can earn in the game, and then 1 currency that you pay real money for. What Warframe does differently is it actually allows you to trade the real money currency for items that you earned in the game. So as long as you just play the game, you will slowly build up and you will eventually get to a point where you can earn the real money currency just for playing the game by trading with other players, which is what you can see is happening on the screen right now. Most of the maps in this game are played with up to 4 players, though there are also large raids which you can play with up to 12 players. There's even PvP in this game, although honestly the PvP is sort of a side feature it's not really focused on. Even so, I still play it pretty often, I find it really fun, and the developers are looking to improve it in the future. Listen, I could go on forever talking about this game, but here it is in short. It's an insanely deep and incredibly fun action RPG with the best free-to-play model that I've ever seen, making it literally completely free. If I had to choose one game to prove the legitimacy of free-to-play games, this would easily be it. Not only is it my favorite free-to-play game, this is just simply my favorite game on the market right now. So there's my list of 4 free-to-play games worth playing for free. All these games on this list are multiplayer, online, and completely free. So next time you're with your friends and you want to try something out, try one of these games. You might see that there's more to the freemium market than you previously thought. And why not, right? There's no risk. None of these games do that stereotypical freemium trick where they get you to invest a ton of your time and then they stick you in the ass with some cheeseball payment method. All these games are simply free and simply fun.